let's explore Seva. S-E-V-A, a Sanskrit word that means selfless service, non-egoic service. As we might playfully say, using this phraseology that came to me regarding the wanter, we could say it's non-wanter-oriented service, being of service not from your wanter. Can you be of service from your pure heart? Our wanter version of being of service would be transactional. Our wanter is willing to give to get acknowledged for it, or thanked, or praised, or liked, or approved of, those things. Can we let ourselves be of service from our pure heart essence, our mystic nature? That's the lovely invitation of Seva. And during the daily schedule at the ashram, it would be in the afternoon for 3 hours every day. And it would be something that would help the ashram to function. Mopping floors, chopping vegetables, doing dishes, gardening, various activities. And when they mentioned this to us, I could see that my wanter was not interested in that. I would rather be in the temple in the afternoon, meditating or chanting. I would rather not be mopping floors or, washing dishes or something. So when I first heard it, I could notice that part of us that I call the wanter rising up and feeling resistant to that idea. I paid to come here. I'm not interested in doing 3 hours of work every day. This is the reaction I noticed that I had inside of me. But then, as they continued to give us the orientation regarding Seva, I could see the spirit of it was very pure. Can we let our activities be a way where we're letting that also be a spiritual practice, a way of connecting to the oneness, the source of all being, permeating all reality? And they said it was optional, as everything on the daily schedule was optional. So beautiful the way that was made very clear to us from the start. The daily schedule started at 3:30 a.m. every morning and had various invitations like chanting and meditation and, studying ancient texts and all the kind of things. So I could see the power of it. And so I started to warm up to it and said, okay, let's consider giving this a try. And so then as we flowed into the afternoon that day, I realized it was time for Seva, and I was a little bit late, and I could see there were people inside the temple with soft dusting cloths, dusting the marble murtis and the nice air-conditioned temple. Oh, yes. I'm willing to try temple Seva, yes. Okay, that's right. Where did they say we go to sign up for that? Oh, yeah, that other building. So I walk over to the other building called Atmanidhi. And I go up to the area where you would go to sign up for Seva. And as I'm approaching, I'm sort of crafting in my mind how I will say to them that I want temple Seva. And I walk up and I'm about to tell her whatever my mind came up with to let her know that I want to do temple Seva. And I tell her that I'm there for Seva, and she says, oh, wonderful. And she hands me a card. And as I'm receiving the card that she's handing to me, I say, oh, what's this? She said, oh, this will be your Seva assignment. My Seva assignment? I say. She says, yes. you don't get to choose your seva? I asked her. Oh no, we will, invite you into this seva so that we can coordinate all the various things that, we need help with to help the ashram to function. I said, oh, and I could notice I was a bit disappointed that I didn't get to choose temple seva. I'd like to be in the nice air-conditioned temple, and that's where I like to be. That's where you meditate. That's where we chant. I want to be in the temple. That's where we go to get this, spiritual awakening thing that I'm hearing all about that I want so badly. So I look at my card and it says housekeeping. So I say to her, oh, what is housekeeping? And she said, oh, well, there's various sevas that are under that category. You are very lucky because you were given the most powerful one within the housekeeping category. I said, oh, what is that? She said, your seva will be to clean toilets. What? No, I didn't say any of this out loud because I didn't want to reveal, how unevolved I was to her. But inside, there was my inner rebel coming out strong. What? You want me to clean the toilets? As I say, I didn't say any of this out loud, of course. So I'm walking over to where she said to go to, make myself available for the toilet seva. And I'm having all kinds of thoughts of how to get out of this. Who can I ask to get a different seva? What was I thinking, even being willing to sign up for it? Now I've got to clean toilets. I don't even like public restrooms to begin with, let alone have to be the one that cleans the toilets. This is spinning in my mind as I walk over to the building. And as I'm walking up to the area that she said for me to go to show up for my toilet seva, I see a man standing by a cabinet with a big smile on his face, waiting for me to arrive. And there's a woman there with him as well. She does not have a smile on her face. She has got a bit of a concerned look on her face. And so, as I walk up, he says, oh, welcome. He says, now that you're both here, I will orient you regarding toilet seva. And I just want to let both of you know, this is the most powerful seva that there is. In my mind, once again, I didn't say it out loud because I wouldn't want to show how unevolved I am to anyone. But in my mind, the response was sort of like this. Nice try, pal. Not buying it. But, all of that was carefully kept within. So then he goes on to say that very often it is the activities that we would least want to be doing that do end up being the most powerful seva. So I could see the logic in that, but still didn't want to do it. He went on to explain that we would chant an opening mantra, a seva mantra, where we're inviting in all the divine beings to help us and asking for their support, that we can please, moment to moment, let our attention come back to the heart of being, our pure heart, and let our service be offered from our heart, from our absolute pure essence, rather than letting our mind come in and interrupt and complain and resist or want something in return. So we chanted the opening mantra, and I could feel some shifting happening in me just by being available to that chant, as it always has ever since my first experience with chanting. I always am beneficially affected when we chant. And then, so I softened into it, and I could feel my whole system being more open to the lovely possibility of it, of being, of service and helping and offering it from the heart. And he showed us the cabinet where all the supplies were kept, and he explained to me, Mitch, you'll be doing all the men's restrooms in all the different buildings. And he said to her that she would be doing all the ladies' restrooms in all the buildings. And there's many different buildings with restrooms. It's a large gathering of buildings with many different types of men's and women's restrooms in them. And we began. And so she went off toward the ladies and this building, and mine would be the men, and then men's. And then after we would do this building, she'd be on her own route and I would be on my own route. We wouldn't see each other necessarily. And so I walk into the first stall, and I'm in the spirit of Seva, but not really. I thought I was in the spirit of it. So I clean the first toilet, and I go into the second stall and clean that toilet, and I'm trying to be in the spirit of Seva and not let my wanter come in. But it's starting to emerge. And then I open the door for the third stall and close the door very quickly. I don't even want to go in there, let alone be responsible for cleaning that. Oh my goodness. No, get me out of here. I paid to come here. Now I'm having to do this? No. So it just pulled me right into the wanting to not be doing this. This is so unfair. Why do I have to do this? This is ridiculous. So stall after stall, building after building, I just suffered in it, hated it, resisted it, didn't want to be doing it. Day after day after day, I would be like this. Each time we would chant, I would start to soften up a little bit, but then inevitably I would get pulled back into resisting it and not wanting to do it and wanting to be in the temple instead. Why can't I just spend the afternoon in the temple meditating? That's why I'm here. I'm here to meditate and awaken to my true nature. I'm not going to get there by cleaning these toilets. These were the things going on day after day after day. So that whole first summer, I never had any breakthrough with Seva whatsoever. I just dreaded it, resisted it, tried to get through it as quickly as possible, and then wash up and get to the temple. Every time, as soon as I would finish toilet Seva, I would go to the temple, and I would sit down in the temple. Oh, yes. Yes, now this is where I can connect to my heart. This is where I can find who I really am. That whole toilet Seva thing, no. The temple, yes. Now, on the airplane, flying to the ashram for the second summer, during the plane ride, I've got my hands together at my heart, inviting grace. Dear divine grace, please, can I have a different Seva this summer? I've had toilet Seva. Let's let somebody else have that this time. Please, can I have a different Seva? I arrive at the ashram. I go to the building. They hand me my card, and it says housekeeping. I say, oh, category of housekeeping is this? She looks at me and says, toilets. No! No, please not toilet Seva again. And yes, in fact, it was toilet Seva again. Resisted it, hated it, dreaded it. Get me to the temple as quickly as possible afterwards. No breakthroughs whatsoever in this most powerful Seva that there is. It wasn't that for me at all. On the airplane, flying to the ashram for the third summer. Dear Divine Grace, with my hands together at my heart, please, can I have a different Seva? I've now had toilet Seva 2 summers. Somebody else can benefit from it because it's clearly not doing me a bit of good. Please, can I have a different Seva? So, as you can guess where this is headed. She hands me my card, toilet Seva. Now, I've had all kinds of breakthroughs in other experiences, in the chanting, the meditation, the receiving of the ancient texts. So many powerful and lovely breakthroughs, but nothing of benefit at all during my toilet Seva because I was just so resistant to it. I was contracting so much into wanting a different Seva. So that third summer, I started asking around, is it tradition to keep getting the same Seva? And everyone would say, what? Even the veterans, that I had gotten to know over the years, I would ask them, is it normal to keep getting the same Seva? And they would say, no, you always get different Seva. They always mix it up so that you get to have, a variety of experiences with your Seva assignments. And they would say, you keep getting the same Seva? Yeah. Well, what is it? And I would say toilets. And they would, all laugh. Oh, so you keep getting toilet Seva. I've never heard of that, they would say. Usually people get different Sevas. So you're getting toilet Seva over and over again. I said, yes. Fascinating. So one of the days, early that third summer, during the chant of the opening mantra, I felt something really shift this time. And also it stayed with me what she had said about that it was fascinating to her that I kept getting the same Seva. So after the opening mantra that day, I walk into the first stall, and as soon as I see the toilet, I can hear the cynical wanter in me say this. So ridiculous. Got me cleaning your thrones. And as soon as I said the word throne, which, was a slang term growing up for a toilet, they would have phrases like sitting on the throne. Well, when that word came from this inner cynic in me, the cynical part of the wanter, got me cleaning your thrones. I don't know how this happened, but when the word throne arrived in my awareness, something gave way. It was like a membrane in consciousness, like as thin as a soap bubble, just popped. And all of a sudden, I realized these are the thrones. We all are divine beings, and I have the great honor of cleaning Shiva's throne. Instantly, I realized that what was creating the suffering, all those other hours and days and weeks of Seva, was merely a belief that there was the temple where I could get what I was looking for, connecting to pure heart, and then there was the toilets where I couldn't do that. It was all a belief construct that there was temple, the sacred, and there was not temple, the not sacred. And there was no way to find my way to the heart of being in the not sacred. I had to be in the sacred temple to find my pure heart. And in that moment, I realized that whole thing was just a belief that just popped like a soap bubble. And in that moment, I realized I was already in the temple. That bathroom stall with that toilet is the temple. I realized there's only the temple. Everywhere we go is the temple, unless we get pulled into a belief that would say otherwise. Like I was trapped in. There was the sacred temple where I could get what I was looking for, the direct experience of my pure heart, my mystic nature. And then there was the not temple, the toilets. The belief was gone. There was just pure bliss, absolute gratitude, pure joy. There was so much giggling, and toilet after toilet after toilet. I was in the temple. Each stall, each bathroom in each building, there's only the temple. Next thing I know, I've cleaned the final throne, Shiva's throne, and I realize all the toilets have now been cleaned in all of the buildings. And I look at my watch, and I've been in this flow of Seva for 5 hours. And I was just in such wonder. I hadn't even noticed the time. I didn't need to be somewhere else. Right where I was in every moment was the temple. There's only the temple, unless I get pulled into a belief that would say otherwise. I put all the supplies back in the cabinet, so grateful, and realized they were right. It is the most powerful seva there is. Especially for me, because I was so resistant of having to clean toilets. I realized in that moment what he had said that first summer. Very often, the work that we would most resist, that we would most not want to have to do, can have the biggest potential for a breakthrough in realizing that seva, pure seva, can liberate us from limiting thoughts and beliefs like temple and not temple. The pure spirit and the invitation of seva is to let our activities be a way of directly experiencing who we really are. That all of our activities in life can be seva. That's what I realized also in that moment. Everything that I do can be offered from this perspective, can be navigated from this pure heart, our mystic nature. Next thing I know, I'm in the building where the actual temple is. I take off my shoes, and as I'm walking into the temple, even though I'm already in the temple out here in the hallway, I stop and look at the plaque at the entrance of the temple that had always been there. Every time I had gone into the temple, there's this plaque that I had never stopped and read because I was always in such a hurry to get into the temple where I could get what I was looking for, my pure heart. So on this day, realizing that the hallway is also the temple, I read the plaque. And the phrase that stood out to me on the plaque was this: a temple is a sacred place in which you can so fully, directly experience your true essence that you will come to the natural realization that all the world is the temple. It was there all along. A temple is a sacred place in which you can directly experience so fully your true nature that you will come to the natural realization that all the world is the temple. From that day on, each toilet that I cleaned, I was so honored, so grateful for toilet Seva. It had liberated me from the misunderstanding that there are the sacred places and the not sacred places. That the sacred is here, everywhere we are. It's all the temple. Unless we get pulled into a limiting belief that would say otherwise. On the plane, flying to the ashram for the 4th summer, I'm not in any way calling to grace, asking for a different seva. It's not even in my awareness. I'm just enjoying the plane ride. When I arrive at the ashram, I go to get my card, that would, say housekeeping on it, which would be toilet sevas for me. And I was just aware that I was so lucky to get to do the toilets. That's my seva. Those are the thrones. She hands me my card, and I glance at it, expecting to see housekeeping. Instead, it says temple. What? I look at her and I say, temple seva? She says, oh, yes. So I'm walking over to the building. Anugraha is the name of the building, which means grace. And I take off my shoes, and as I'm starting to leave the shoe room to go into the temple, even though I'm already in the temple in the shoe room, I hear and feel a deep communication within me. The communication was this: you don't really think you're going to get temple seva, do you? What? I was so surprised to receive this inner realm communication. I looked closely at my card to verify that it said temple, and it said temple on it. What was that, I wondered? So I walk in, and there's several people gathered together, and they're all standing side by side looking at the Seva coordinator for the temple. And I arrive and join the group, and then a few more people arrive after me. And we're all standing side by side looking at her as she's facing toward us, and there were 12 of us. I realized this when she started counting us. She started at the left and started counting each one of us, giving each one of us a number. One, pointing at us, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that's which one I was. I was number 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And she says to us, those of you that are 1 through 6, you'll be inside the temple. Those of you that are 7 through 12, you'll be outside. No! I could feel it rising up in me again. What do you mean I don't get to be in the temple? My card says temple on it. What do you mean counting me out, casting me out, sending me out of the temple? I got pulled back in. I go outside, and there's a person standing by the cabinet for the supplies outside. And it was we were right outside the temple. which has glass windows that you can see inside the temple all around it. There's a tile walkway all around the perimeter of this temple. And above the tile walkway are rafters, because there's a little bit of an overhang, and there are rafters, and the birds go sit on the rafters and they poop on the tile floor. Our seva is to clean the bird poop off of the tile floor that is around the perimeter of the temple. No, no, no. And for this seva, we have full body length rubber aprons that we wear, rubber boots, squeegees, hoses, scrub brushes, buckets, soapy water. No, out in the heat and the humidity. And you're looking right in the window at them inside the temple with their little soft dusting cloths, dusting the marble murtis inside the air conditioning. No, no. So for 3 days, I was trapped back in the belief that there's the temple and the not temple. They're inside the temple and we're outside the temple, cleaning the bird poop off of the tile walkway around the perimeter as I would look in the windows at them inside the temple. Pulled right back in to the suffering play again, resisting. On the third day of this bird poop seva, the breakthrough happened again. I looked inside the window at them and then looked at all of us out here in the heat and the humidity with splashy bird poop splashing all over us from the cleaning of the tile walkway. And the soap bubble popped again. The belief bubble popped again. And instantly, once again, I was aware that there's only the temple. I'm cleaning the beautiful tile walkway where Shiva walks. We are all Shiva. Each of us a unique expression of Shiva. This is Shiva's walkway. In the same way that I realized this is Shiva's throne. Pure bliss. I was so honored to get to clean this beautiful tile walkway upon which Shiva walks around the temple. The next day, when we all walk in, she has us stand side by side like we did the first day. And she says, today, those of you that have been outside will be coming inside. And those of you that have been inside will be going outside. Wow. In that moment, it's a feeling I'll never forget. I felt so much love for those 6 people that were now going to get to be outside. And I was calling to all the divine friends, please let them have this powerful breakthrough out there. If they're in any way trapped in the limiting thought and belief like I have been once again here, may they please be released from any limiting belief and let them directly experience their pure heart, their mystic nature. From that day on, all the years, I went to the ashram for 7 summers, and never again did I get the same seva. I always got different seva assignments each summer. And sometimes I'd be in the restroom and I would see a toilet that was messy, and I would go to the cabinet, even though that wasn't my seva, and I would get the supplies and I would clean the toilet. Even when it wasn't, the time of day that was seva time. I just felt so honored to get to make that throne for Shiva look very nice. I felt honored to make it beautiful for everyone. And sometimes when I would be walking around on the tile walkway around the outside of the perimeter and I would see some bird poop, I would go to the cabinet and get the supplies, the scrub brushes, and clean the bird poop. Also, over the years, there were certain sevas that I noticed really needed more help than they had enough people to do, like laundry and dishes and things like that. And so sometimes even when it wasn't seva time, I would just get the knowing to go help out in the laundry room or go help, wash dishes or sort beans. They would get these big bags of beans, lentils, and you would pour some out on a tray and you would sift through to make sure there weren't any twigs or rocks or things. There were certain sevas that they always needed more help with, and I would just feel so honored. And I was so grateful for the practice of seva, the liberating power of it, and how it translates to all of life, how it had revealed to me the invitation of seva is to let all of our actions in this divine temple be navigated and shared from our pure heart. Our mystic, liberated into the world through our actions. This is the lovely, pure invitation of Seva.